Now this is an interesting conversation that Asmongold is way too stupid to handle.
Oh, this girl. I guess I should talk about this. This girl got suspended on Twitch. This was hinged? No, no, no. We'll listen to what she says.
That sin is not an identity. And LGBT is not an identity. It's not real. It is all sin that goes against God's design. So society has called this sin an identity to normalize it.
That is true. Normalization of this kind has been happening for years, literally tens of years at this point already. And this is the way they do it. Slowly, just by changing the definitions of words, making things sound way better than they are. For example, PDF files, what are they pushing now for them being called maps? And the other one was minor attracted people or something like that. Yeah, that is literally them trying to normalize it and, normalize the harm that they are causing. This has been happening for literally tens of years.
Andrew Rob, thank you so much. 10 gifted kick subs. Thank you. But yeah, the concept of sexualities isn't real. There is what God designed, which is a husband and a wife, and then there's sin. That is it. The whole notion and concept of, oh, everybody has different sexualities, that was designed to normalize sin. And
True.
That's also a slippery slope because of pervs out there who...
Yes?
I have to be careful with...
The implication of what she's saying is that if you're okay with gay people, then some people that are pedophiles will try to touch kids.
Some people that are PDF files are gonna try to touch kids. All of them are gonna try to touch kids by definition. That's how it works. Do not, Asmongold, do not minimize this by saying, oh, only some of the bad people are actually bad. No, all of the bad people are bad because they're bad. Not only, oh, some of the bad people are bad. This is this is the slippery slope that people are talking about. And the slippery slope is absolutely 100% real. It is literally real for everything. Think about it. A classic American example. Do you think someone just woke up one day and said, hey, we're going to give crack pipes and things like that to the drug addicts so they can multiply and, have an easier time? No. It happens step by step by step by step. If you look back in all these things that are kind of crazy or flat out crazy nowadays, you can see a line of things that were slowly implemented one by one, normalizing these types of situations, activities, and whatnot. And he's obviously trying to imply, oh, slippery slopes don't matter, the way he's saying it. No, slippery slopes do matter. We account our lives as humans for literally slippery slopes and 0.001% happenings.
That's what she's saying.
We know.
We know the slippery slope. We know exactly what she's implying.
But it's not as bad as you're trying to imply it is. A slippery slope is just factual. If you are a science denier, shame on you. You should listen to science. You should listen to statistics. You should not be a science denier like Asmongold. These slippery slopes are real, and all the statistics that we have, literally one by one, say that these slippery slopes are 100% real. And that they happen constantly.
That's what she's saying.
How I phrase things because of, social media censorship, YouTube censorship. But just think about it. People can, whenever this whole idea
doesn't
of,
bother
oh,
me.
yeah,
I'll say it.
different sexualities. Well,
I mean, you weren't a hero for saying it at all. But stop with that.
that's a big umbrella term, and people can apply that to.
What are you talking about? People get mad at me? Look this up. This is an extremely common line of argumentation. This is extremely, extremely common. And
yes, and it has been proven right at every moment. First, they introduce, for example, sanctuary cities. Then they try to get the laws more lenient on things. Then they just make laws more lenient on things. You can easily look this up. You can look at America. It's all right in front of you. You can look it up in America, Germany, Sweden, England, all of these places. Slippery slopes exist and they are super easy. Hell, first they made sanctuary cities to ignore established laws. After that, they made people exempt of things. And look at now, people are just robbing stores. Stores are closing. Why? Because of the slippery slope. Oh, this shouldn't be a big deal. Oh, let's not punish these people for these crimes. And it constantly leads just to bigger things. And this is how life just happens. Slippery slopes exist, and every single time you let something of that happen, the next step is gonna be bigger and bigger and bigger. It is unavoidable. So, yeah.
Anybody who's been following this discourse over the last like 15 years will agree with me. If you just started paying attention to this stuff and, you know, you're 19 or something like that in the chat, you probably don't get the context of it.
He's also saying here that slippery slopes are bad, essentially, that they're... he probably doesn't think that they're not real, but he's clearly emphasizing that slippery slopes are not that bad. They are bad. Again, the easiest slippery slope to show is the American drug problem, okay? First, they made it so, you know, less harsh punishments for drugs, you know? They lowered the amount of punishment you get for, you know, carrying an X amount. Then they made it that, you know, even carrying an X amount of drugs isn't even illegal in the first place. You know, that's absolutely fine. Then they made it that selling a small portion of that is completely fine and dandy and whatnot. Then they made it legal to be high on the streets and things like that. Then they made it so that you have safe spaces where you can do pretty much whatever you want while high. And now they're just giving out crack pipes and whatnot. That is the slippery slope in action. And you can show this for a lot of things. And obviously one of the biggest ones here is the age of consent. Because it is a slippery slope. The moment you... I think the moment you reduce that, it's GG to any country that does it. Because it's going to go lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Hey, it is what it is.
Worse and worse and worse things, like
But
unspeakable
yes,
things.
Absolutely.
Let's just say for the purpose of YouTube, I like all worse things, like unspeakable things. Umbrella term and people...
Also, it's very interesting. So she got banned for this. It's actually kind of clear that she's probably an actual, like, Catholic. Or, you know, that this is at the bare minimum part of her religion. So, can Twitch even ban her? I'm gonna assume no if she's American. A lot of people don't understand this, and this is, by the way, a tip for you. It doesn't matter on which platform you are. It doesn't matter what kind of contract, deal, or paper you sign. If any of that goes against the law of the country that you are currently in, that shit is null and void. It has absolutely no power. It doesn't matter what kind of company you are. Your internal laws cannot break or be ever above the law of the country that you are currently in. And now, admittedly, I am not a professional at this at all because I have barely heard about this in action, so I'm not going to get into it. But religious persecution is not allowed in the United States. You cannot discriminate towards a person for their beliefs, religious beliefs in this case. And, well, if she's saying this based off of religion, Twitch just bans someone based on their religious beliefs, which is against American law. So, this is interesting.
People can apply that to worse and worse and worse things, like unspeakable things. Let's just say...
So this, again, you see what she's implying, right? She's implying that because you're born with your sexuality, then anything that you're born with is okay. Well, this is...
What? Is she even implying that? Did she even imply that? That anything... No. It's not okay at all. Her argument in this case is the fact that people aren't even born that way, or even if people are born that way, now people are trying to accommodate it and normalize it, which is 100% true and happening.
This is clearly not true, and nobody really thinks this. There are plenty of things that people are born with that, for example, they can't do. Like, if you're born blind, you probably can't...
Her argument is not about being born blind. I don't know if he's just trying to be a disingenuous hack here, or he's actually dumb enough to actually put that forward as an argument. That is such a weak strawman argument that, well, it's just bad faith.
Can't get a driver's license. So just because you're born a certain way doesn't mean society has to accommodate it. That's never how things
Again, her argument is that they are trying to do this.
have worked. It's such a crazy thing to say. In Canada, you can?
Yeah. In Canada, Germany, Sweden, UK, you know, all the shitholes essentially, you can actually do a lot. I mean, it wasn't even 2 days ago when the last outing happened in the UK, and the perpetrators who did it on a 14-year-old just got sentenced to, what, 2 weeks of community service or something like that? I mean, you can do a lot of stuff in these crazy woke countries that are constantly just pushing the limits and, you know, falling down the slippery slope constantly.
There's no way, right? There's no way that's true, right?
No, I don't know if that's true, but I would not be surprised if you can't discriminate against a blind person in these countries for that reason. Hey, it could be legit.
No, he's dumb. Okay, all right, good. I mean, it's Canada, so, like, I don't know, but all right.
For the purpose of YouTube, I'll just say, like, animals, for example. People can say, well, that's my
You see what she's implying.
sexuality. Like, they're attracted to dogs like that or something.
Yeah, but the dog didn't consent. That's the difference.
I mean, people like Disney, Hassan, and Vaush would say that part doesn't really matter. And surprise, surprise, all of them. Well, maybe Hassan isn't. I actually don't know. But I know that Vaush and Disney are 100% for the removal and deletion of the age of consent entirely. Surprising how that happens, isn't it? It's really surprising how these specific groups of people are for that for some strange reason.
Like, it's so crazy to me that how do you not understand the difference between consenting adults and not? Like, I don't, how is it possible?
Well, I don't... Consenting adults, okay? Well, the argument here is that she's not even making, but Asmongold is twisting the words that she's saying and twisting the things that she potentially means, is, well, it's not about consenting adults. It's about the fact that this is getting pushed on people. That's what it is about. It's not about consent anymore. It's about the fact that you need to like it no matter what. And you need to say it's good no matter what.
Well, that people still can't figure this out. It's nuts.
Right? So that's why I don't know, it just hit me today. It hit me, I felt it in my spirit. Sexualities aren't real. It's
I wonder...
Did he just skip ahead? So, wait, did he just skip ahead?
what these people would do if an actual theocracy took over. Guys, who here is
Nothing?
enough of a fucking boomer to remember the satanic panic with Pokemon? So what happens whenever the theocracy takes over and they just
Nothing.
decide to burn her for being a witch that supports witchcraft and monsters? Why not?
Jesus Christ, that was a hell of a leap. Wouldn't expect less from Asmongold, boys, okay? So, first of all, she is in no way hinting, implying, or even vaguely nodding in the way of, oh, let's bring back the clergy to guide us. That's one. Asmongold is just taking her words, taking her position and twisting it into something like this, which is completely bad faith, but again, exactly expected from someone like Asmongold. Second of all, the disingenuous thing that he's currently doing is also implying that, well, if that happened, then it would be, the Dark Ages all over again. If that happened, I don't think it would be the Dark Ages all over again at all, because times have changed. But he's instantaneously being disingenuous by implying, oh, it's the Dark Ages.
I mean, you want to run things based off the Bible. You want to make decisions based off what the Bible and what these books that are thousands of years old think to do. Go
Not what she said.
on ahead. But the idea that a girl like this, with tattoos all over her, that is wearing a low-cut t-shirt with what's considered to be a demon by some people that are religious,
well, some people do consider this bad, but that is the 0.something% minority at this point, probably. Second of all, she would not be burned at the stake for this. Okay? She would not be called a witch and burned. This is him just being disingenuous and, twisting things up.
somehow thinks that she's going to be living in a utopia if there's a theocracy.
She's not saying she's gonna live in the utopia because of that. She hasn't even implied anything about the theocracy.
She is so delusional and out of her fucking mind. It is amazing to me.
I think it's delusional that you just take these arguments that she never even espoused to in the slightest and just pushing them on her, because that would make her look bad, because you're twisting everything and adding random stuff.
People like this, we could get together and do a GoFundMe to send them to the most religiously restrictive country in the world. And then they can stay there and they'll be happy. Send them to the Taliban. Send them to ISIS.
She wants Christianity. Send her to ISIS. Send her to the Taliban. Yeah, that's not even the type of religion she's talking about, first of all. Jesus Christ. This is not like just being disingenuous. This is like 15 steps of being absolutely, completely unhinged and disingenuous. She doesn't ask for any of this. She doesn't do anything of that. She doesn't even hint at it. Asmongold just takes these positions and shoves it up her throat.
And then maybe they'll understand why things are the way they are. Did she say she wanted theocracy?
Exactly. No.
I think that's clearly what you're implying. Whenever you are implying...
Did she say she wants a theocracy? Well, you saying did she say she wants a theocracy is clearly implying that you just said that. What? What?
Implying that some things should not be accepted socially. You are also implying that those things should not be accepted through the laws, because the laws and the social norms of a society are a feedback loop of each other.
Okay.
And so, yes, I think that's exactly what she would say. I think that if...
Yeah, but even what you just said doesn't imply she wants a theocracy.
If you asked a girl like this, you asked her, do you want to have religion play a bigger part in government? I think she'd probably say yeah.
And we're instantaneously gonna go to witch hunting? Okay.
I do.
Yeah,
And
this
also,
is so crazy and unhinged.
she lives in a society where she doesn't get harassed and attacked for the way that she behaves and dresses.
I don't know if I believe what Asmongold's saying. The last time he gave his opinion about women, it pretty much amounted to any time a woman exits her house, she needs to be wary of every bush so someone doesn't jump out of it and club her over the head and then, do something bad to her.
So it's easy for her to say this. I talked to girls that have grown up in countries like, for example, Turkey, where they were body shamed by their own family members for wearing shorts.
Good.
Physically shamed as well. And she has the privilege of living in a country where that doesn't happen.
Wow.
And she wants to pull the ladder up and take that privilege away from other people. We've worked
So exactly as the other side. Okay, that's fine.
very hard to get where we're at. And it's disappointing that so many regressive people like this are trying to bring us back into the Dark Ages. That's what
I mean, are we better at this point? Did you actually work for the right to wear shorts? I don't think so.
I think. Devil May Cry. Oh, yeah. I think this is the Devil May Cry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Devil May Cry. I'm sure
Is he
another
gonna call it
favorite
heretical?
of another favorite of all of the most religious people. It's Dante. Right. Oh my God. She wants it to be less liberal, not become a dark age. The moment that you restrict what adults can do with other consenting adults,
It's the Dark Age. Also, she's not implying consensual adults, by the way, here. She actually at no point did. She's talking about consensual adults and extremely, extremely not adults.
is the moment that the dark age begins. And also,
Okay.
that's always
I mean, that's an extreme leap again. Oof.
the way things start. Yeah, who decides what's less liberal?
I mean, it's kind of ironic here, but it seems like he doesn't see that the pendulum swings at the exact opposite side here. So that's kind of cool.
And this is the problem that people have, is they always think about it from that perspective. Incest? I don't know what the incest laws are everywhere. I have no idea.
I don't, but I know that Vaush, Destiny, and probably Hassan are for that also. Again, who would have expected? Wow, that's crazy.
Idea. Maybe we have some we won't make that joke, okay?
I'm actually surprised he didn't pull out a classic Asmongold and say incest. Oh, you know exactly what I mean, and this is not what I mean. Of course, there's minor exceptions, and I'm surprised he didn't pull out that card.
I was gonna, yeah, no, I don't know about that. Cocaine and heroin. I would, I actually, like, if you want me to be totally honest, yeah, I would make it to where being a drug addict is legal. I would.
It already is in America, baby.
Because drug addiction is you're a victim of drug addiction, and I would make it to where it was legal, and that way they could be treated as victims rather than criminals. I also think that.
Wait, so something you choose for yourself makes you a victim? That explains a lot.
You no longer become a consenting adult whenever you introduce a chemical addiction, especially one that's as strong as something like heroin or fentanyl. Now, obviously...
What? You no longer are a consenting adult when you use drugs? And you're a victim? What?
Like, there's a certain level of chemical addiction with, for example, like caffeine or sugar, but to compare that with heroin is like, you know, it's not really the same thing.
No one's talking about that.
It's a completely different universe. So, yeah, either way, the girl got suspended for this, and it's very sad to see people that, it's like, I'm not really even sure how to explain the best perspective for this.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
But it's just very odd for me to see people. It's like a fish that lives in water complaining about a sea. It's like you don't even understand where you are. You don't understand the...
I don't know. I think that's arguable. Have you ever seen a fish in a raindrop? You know, the small fishes? For some reason, they just don't magically swim out the raindrop. Just completely nonsensical for this, but, you know, just a fun thing to think about.
Existence that you live in. Like, if things were the way that the people that wanted things, the way that she wanted people to be in power, if it was the way that they want.
Considering you completely made up everything about her ideals of governance, this must be some kind of great take right here. So let's see.
Wanted them to be, she wouldn't be able to do this.
Do what?
That's it.
Talk on Twitch?
Out of touch. And it's crazy.
Out of touch. Okay.
How out of touch some people are.
Okay.
Crazy how many comments agree with her, actually. There's a lot of people that agree with her because LGBT representation feels artificial in our culture, and so
because it is.
People are pushing back against it. I don't think that most people actually care about whether somebody's gay or not. They're just fighting a culture war against artificial LGBT representation. So, unfortunately, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. And
you know who cares about that, though? Dogs. Look it up.
And you're also fighting against just common gay rights that I think most normal, rational people agree with. And also, you have to keep...
No one's fighting against common gay rights in this case. Okay.
In mind that I have a global audience. There are a lot of people that watch me from America and Western countries, but there's also a lot of guys that watch me from Middle Eastern countries too. And over there, what her opinion is, that's the fucking law. And if
again, he has very much sold himself on the idea that he knows her opinions about stuff that she doesn't even hint at.
If I went over there, I would respect their laws. They can do what they want to do. That's their right.
What do you mean? Didn't you just have a whole mental breakdown about how should not be in the dark ages, blah blah blah? Didn't you just call those laws stupid? You literally called those laws stupid, and now you want to respect them?
It's crazy. Decently familiar with the content, which she's definitely not saying people shouldn't be allowed to be gay or whatever. Just that she should be allowed to not like it. Talks about it a lot. You can like and not like anything that you want.
Okay.
And you don't have to justify your opinions to anyone. But
I mean, the people who like these things are definitely justifying their opinions to everyone.
But when you put your perspective out there in the public space and you're advocating for a certain perspective in life, you should expect that other people will evaluate that perspective and think about it for themselves. I'm not saying that she isn't allowed to have her opinion.
I mean, you kind of almost did that with everything you said.
She wants to hate gay people. That's her right to hate gay people. But if she wants to
being again a little... Man, this is a lot of disingenuousness, huh? Man, hey, it is what it is. It's Asmongold. Great stuff. Anyway, this was Quizzer saying, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.